Okay, so the goal is to see how to put a can light up into the ceiling. And so we have a switch over here on the faceplate. If we shut it off, it goes down. We have two more holes over here that we need to work with. So if we head up over here, you'll see the first can right there is where the power comes in. It has a whip over to the second can. And you can see there's a whip that heads up to a light just in case I need to do some repairs later on. I want to have some light in here. You can see that the whip comes over here to the third spot that we're going to put a can into, and then it's going to whip into the hole I'm in right now. And then these two cans down here are connected to that outlet over there. So those two are done. The goal here is to connect that one and then the one that I'm sitting in so that we have 6 in here. Okay, so basic tools needed. We need to cut a hole in our tile, obviously. So the issue is, how do I cut a hole in the tile? And then something to cut the electrical cord, or the electricities, and then I'll show you how to pinch the can up into the railing. Something to make sure you have your power off, although you can certainly shut it off the switch, and a wire to poke it in. So those are the basic tools. You don't need all of these. This is for sure required. I still think the razor blade is the best way to go to cut the hole, but you can always just put the can down and draw a circle. You're going to need this guy, and the others are optional. This one I'll show you how we're going to use it in a minute. So those are kind of the tools that we need for the time being. So I'm using Utilitech lamps up in the ceiling. I got these at Lowe's. This is a contractor pack, and if you buy it appropriately, you can get a contractor discount. If you look for a code online, you'll be able to get these for a super cheap price. I got 6 cans, including the baffle that goes around the edge, for $55. So, in my opinion, that is a really good price. So, a little bit about the cans. First of all, there's 6 obviously, and you also have your 6 lighting, and I'll show you how to set those up. I'm just going to mess with one can for right now. We'll put the rest of these cans aside, and we'll talk about the can for a bit. Okay, a little bit about the cans. First of all, they come with the thing in the middle. You're going to take those out, get rid of that. These slide in the bars, and you'll see how you can either hammer them into the studs if you want to, bang, and in they go, or they actually rest on the bars. So you can slide these open, and then they fit on the bar like that. So pretty straightforward. Now, as far as the wiring of these go, it is super simple. And so what's going to happen is, I've got a box I'm bringing a wire into, and then I'm going to whip it over to my one. So I need 2 open. And so I can open up one, and I'm going to open up the other, and I'm actually going to break these back a little bit further, get them out of my way. Now you'll notice on this that there is you don't need to pull them all the way off, doesn't really matter. You'll notice that you also have a very simple flip door that just releases this, and then these are all push plugs, which are super handy. So on the end of these, you simply cut the wire and jam it inside the hole. So super easy to wire these up. You push them back in, and away they go. Couldn't be easier. Now on the inside, you have a couple of things you can do on the inside. When you put the baffling up around the light, in order to make it look nice, there's a couple of ways to hook this together. So first I'm going to take this out, and you've got these little springs right here. You don't want to lose these, because this is what keeps the reflector cone in place. So the goal is to set this like this, obviously, and hook it up. So you'll notice that there's two little holes in there. And what happens is that if you look in here, there are two corresponding holes. And what ends up happening is you take this part, you'll notice that part of it has a hook. There's a hook on both ends, but this is the part you're going to hang on to pull it. And so if you look at that for a bit, let me move it out of the way. It comes down in here and actually hooks on like that. And then you're going to pull it to hook it. So it hooks like that. Pretty straightforward there. Works out really, really well. Now, there's a couple of screws in here. There's a screw right here. And then there's a screw right here. And another one right here. When you put your can in the ceiling, if you need to drop the can, you're going to unscrew these screws to make that happen. If the can is too low and your baffling is hanging too low, then you're going to want to grab this little guy right here, unscrew it, and either slide it up or slide it down in order to tighten this against your ceiling panel. So that's how it works. Now let's go put one together and you'll see how the rest of this all comes together. Now, first thing off, since I know that I have to whip this over to the next one, I'm going to do the whip on the ground, so I'm not trying to do another one up on the ceiling. So I'm going to put one up in the ceiling, the other one I'm going to do now, so it's just extended over to the other pole. So I'm going to go ahead and wire one together here, and then we'll do the other. Okay, so this is just basic wiring. What we're going to do is the can is going to sit up like this, so it either can sit this way or that way, right? We got plenty of room, so I'm going to sit it this way so you can see how we're going to plug these items together. Might be a little easier to go the other way, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're just jam it down in the hole. Now, if the hole's a little tight, you can always go that route. And you're going to have to get enough that you can strip it, right? So we're going to push a little bit more down in there. Now there are some rough edges around here, so you want to make sure you put it in my opinion, before you strip back the rest of the wire, just to make sure that everything stays in one piece. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to pull out the other three ends. We have one for the ground, and one for the hot, and one for the neutral. So we're going to take the ground first, and again you can see that there's holes in here, so we're just going to take that and shove it in one of the remaining holes. Make sure it's good tight, give it a tug, you'll feel it snap right into place. You really don't need the pliers, you can do it by hand too. Well, I like pliers. And you can see that one went in. So, good to go there. Nice and tug, very simple to put these together, nicely done. And then of course the last one. And I'll grab that and shove it in. There it went. Okay, now we'll take it up into the ceiling. We'll hook the other one on this side, and we'll be up and running. And then this is going to go up in the can. So that's kind of how it sets up. Now in order to make sure you're in the right spot, of course you're going to have your pad up here. So that's normally you just put the pad in. I'm doing this so you can kind of see what it looks like. So that's kind of the idea of how it works. I'll take this, bring it up here, and then I'm going to go ahead and set this back up in here, and away we go. just push that up like that. It's going to go back on top of that. And we're going to make sure everything's back. Then we line up our bucket. Make sure we're centered in our hole so you can see that it goes up a little bit further, goes up nicely and hangs onto it. Okay. Okay, so you can see that our hole is going to fit nicely up there. We're good to go. So we're going to move back and do a little wiring on the back side of this box. And then we'll plug it in and see what happens. So we brought up our closed doors. It's going to go in here again. We have our white, black, and ground. Now you'll notice in the case of my drop ceiling, the rails right here don't fit exactly perfectly. So what I need to do is I need to grab this little guy like this, move it out of the way, grab the rail, and give it a pinch. And if I pinch it, then these things snap into place. That way it keeps them from moving around. So depending on the size of rail that you've used, you may have to pinch it, you may not have to pinch it. But that's how that part of the puzzle works. And then that keeps it from moving around on you. And we'll do the last one. Okay, so now that's in place. We can move the can where we need to. Still fits the hole. Over a little bit, there we go, look good. So now we're going to grab our whip from the other side. And we're going to go ahead and feed our whip. That's not good. That's hot. Okay, well that was exciting. So now that that's shut off over at the light switch, no more problems there. That was not very good. Worrying too much about talking and not focusing on my power. Okay, so now we're going to take this little guy and hook him up. There we go, right here. And twist it in so it's hanging like that. We're going to take the other one and hang them like that, so you can see they're both dangling there. And we're going to take the can, has the baffle on it like that. We line them up as close as we can get to them. And we reach in and hook one of them. Grab the little guy over here. And reach in, grab that one. Nice and tight. Make sure our panel's in, which it is. Plenty of room. Grab a light bulb. Light bulb on. And we're done.
Okay, if you like this video, please click on subscribe. There's also a couple of other videos across the bottom that are linked to. Go ahead and watch those too. Thanks for watching.